another 3 and a bit hours of this insanity. But I guess the argument's going to be that if you want to be able to speak on it, having sat through it's going to be, unfortunately, the qualifier. So here we are. I don't know if all the energy drinks in the world are going to help me. But we're going to do our best. So just before we went to the break, she was... I'm trying to be fair here. I just don't see how anybody is going to not see what I'm seeing. I'm trying to give her every chance here. It's mentally draining sitting here watching this shit.
For this part, the first night, what I distinctly remember is at one point I
literally don't believe
that
that
very
sentence.
far, or maybe I came back into the room, but when he shoved me, I went flying across these parakeet floors. I mean, just skidding across these floors.
Environmental specifics.
And I remember thinking it just looked so easy for him to.
That's what you thought.
Throw me around like
when
that,
you got pushed, you thought, geez, he made that look easy.
I just slid.
Fuck off.
Screeching my skin against this
Bro.
beautiful wooden floor.
Bro, that's not what you remember.
That was a spin-off from that. It was just kind of this on-off sort of thing that I remember eventually in this interaction. He shoves me up against the fridge. He has me by the throat, and he just was holding me there by my throat. And I wondered if it was the drugs. I wondered if it was him. It hadn't, in my recollection, it hadn't been that long. He has me up against the throat.
Up against the throat.
Against the
the
wall next to the fridge.
Bullshit.
Kind of moving in that area. And at some point, I'm in his face. And I don't know if he had let go of my neck or loosened my grip, but I remember slapping him across the face.
But you don't remember.
Screaming at him. Screaming at me. I got my hand free when he tried to grab me when I walked off.
Wait. Is his hand around your throat or holding your arms? You got your hand free. You know what that tells me? Do you remember when Johnny testified that he had her with her arms by her side? Huh. She got her arm free. Did she? Or did he have her by the throat? Which is it? One of these things is not like the other.
I stormed off. I slammed the door upstairs.
Bro.
Don't know if it was in that instance or if it was in a later one that I eventually barricaded the door.
Fuck off.
It wouldn't stop him from coming in. He could come in the other doors. There's plenty of, there's a back door, there's patio.
Shut
but
up.
At least I'd hear it. And
Sorry,
this is March 2015 by this time. I'm being medicated by his doctor. He's giving me anti-anxiety meds. Giving me, had already tried to give me antidepressants. They didn't work for obvious reasons, I hope.
What?
I wasn't sleeping. I had insomnia. I'd wake up with panic attacks.
For obvious reasons, I'd
I
hope.
needed to sleep. But
What do you mean? What's the implication there?
So I was really, really compromised at this point. And I kept thinking that I just wanted to hear him or know if he came in so I could be aware, so I could be ready for what was going to come in with him. And at some point I go back down stairs. I don't really know at what point I gave up and stayed behind my barricaded door, but I managed to go to sleep. I took some sleeping pills. I woke up, and when I came downstairs, he was still up. He confirmed that when I asked him that he had not slept. He had not eaten, so I tried to get him to eat. We get in an argument. He was accusing me of Eddie Redmayne, and by this point, he thought I was working with Billy Bob Thornton on the movie I just shot, but I had already worked with him a year earlier. But he was very upset about him and the gentleman that invited me to a concert in London. You know, my co-star, he was upset about these people, even though I had done
Right, it
that
just sounds
movie
like she's just reciting
prior.
a bunch of fucking
was
bullet
that?
points.
It was Billy Bob Thornton, Jim Sturgis, and Eddie Redmayne that he was upset about.
And let me just stop you for a moment. Have you seen Mr. Depp take any drugs by this point?
Oh, yeah. Sorry if I left that out. But when we had the argument about the MDMA,
Fuck me.
he suggested to me that it wasn't on the no-fly list, like it wasn't on the no list. That was his argument. That was his defense. Like, this isn't the. You didn't say I couldn't have this, and you know, over and over again, Johnny told me I wasn't the reason he was getting sober, but I was the reason he was staying sober. I had saved his life and all this stuff. It wasn't like it wasn't my job to police him, but I kind of ended up being in that situation, it seemed like, in his mind, you know, when he would express that to me. So he took a handful of pills, and I didn't count how many, but when I came back downstairs, I did the math on the amount that was left, and I think it was either 8 or 10. I can't recall as I sit here.
She
now. Either
doesn't
8 or
remember
10
how many you
pills
took,
of
but
MDMA.
she remembers doing the
taken, but they
maths
were left.
and exactly how many were left and the difference.
I remember we had a conversation about
Can't.
the amount that he took. So I remember saying, you
Can't.
took
Objection,
all of it.
hearsay.
Yeah.
I'll sustain the objection.
Objection. Utter bullshit.
There were only a few left in the bag, so I think it was what he took. And I said, Johnny,
Objection, hearsay.
Yeah.
he confirmed that he took that amount and that he could
Oh, that's
take that
funny now.
And what amount?
A man tries to
At
kill
this
himself
point,
in an
there were
argument
10
with
he
you,
had taken
and
10.
that's funny
8
now.
or 10, I can't recall.
And when you say at this point, is that the first night? Is that the second day?
This is the second day. This is after I've already
She is
fallen
pure
asleep
evil,
for the
bro.
night in the room upstairs. Come back
She's
downstairs.
pure
He was
fucking
still
evil.
awake.
Okay, please continue with that second day.
He was accusing me of being mean to his sister. He was accusing me of not liking his sister. Something about the wedding. I was trying to put out that fire, as you will. I was trying to say, no. First of all, I'm not filming with Billy Bob. No, I wasn't filming with Jim Sturgis.
Fucking move on.
Yes, I filmed with Eddie Redmayne, but he was a lovely gentleman.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Let's not offer to prove the truth of the matter.
Overruled. And then when it came up with his sister, he was accusing me of kind of having this animosity with Christy. I tried to defend myself, explaining why her and I had kind of become cold to one another. I don't know how else to describe it, because we never had any sort of direct interaction that was negative. We never had any sort of confrontation or anything, but I did my best to explain to him what I could answer to that accusation. And at one point he, I mentioned that, well, I can't say what I mentioned. He, as a result of that phone call, picks up the phone and calls his agent. I don't know why, still to this day. He calls a few people. I don't know who was on the other line. I just heard his side of it, and he's screaming at them. I got a sense that it was money, that he felt people had been stealing money from him, and that the studio had been ripping him off, and that he was calling himself like a whore, or he had been whored out. He seemed like he was upset, but I did not, at this point, this is maybe early evening, it was before the sun went down on the second day. I remember he took the phone at one point and called my divorce attorney. I had at some point prior to this got a divorce attorney, or not a divorce attorney, a domestic relations attorney to do a post-nup, because we got married in February and there was never any mention or talk from Johnny about a prenup, but I had had interactions with his sister, and so I thought, okay, I'll get a lawyer and let's do a post-nup. When Johnny found out about that, or when I reminded
Sorry about that.
him of that in Australia, he went outside and called my divorce attorney and fired her and said the only way out of this was death. Again. And I heard that already at this point, March 2015, probably 25 times. So he's screaming at her. He calls his agents. I hear him talking incoherently, screaming incoherently at my lawyer and his agent. He comes back inside, and I genuinely didn't know if he was still mad at me or if it was about me at all. I didn't know. It didn't seem like it was connected to reality at all. At some point shortly after that, I have been saying to Johnny, you need to sleep.
Sorry, I didn't realize this wasn't on.
Baby, let's relax. Please, like, calm down. In my head, I was thinking that it would genuinely change if he just got some sleep. He needed to sleep it off. He needed to come down off the drugs. Clearly, the combination of what he had taken pill-wise with whatever else he was hiding from me was not good. I had recognized that sort of delusion. I had recognized that sort of unattached to reality rage. I had recognized the patterns of those kind of loops where he's yelling about things that aren't even being discussed or talked about. I knew already that he just needed to sleep it off, clean up, sober up. And I thought we could. I remember I went to the fridge. I got out the steak so that they would be ready to cook.
Yes, mate.
And I got out some of the
Yes, mate.
food I was going to put together
Yes,
for
mate.
dinner. I went
Yes,
upstairs.
mate. No.
I don't know if I came back down in my nightgown at that point or if that was shortly after, but the next thing I remember is coming downstairs and looking for him. We had an interaction that I can't really describe. It didn't make a lot of
Then
sense.
don't.
He was just belligerent, throwing things, screaming at me. And I realized I was back on the chopping block. I realized it was back. I realized that the arrows were pointed at me again. And I tried to defend myself. I was explaining, trying to say that.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Word.
It was not for to prove the truth of the matter. She hasn't even said
Nope,
it.
she's
yet.
about to say
But
something.
try not to say what you're saying unless
Word.
it needs it for context or something. Try to say what he's
I'll
saying.
sustain the objection.
Okay.
He was just belligerent. I don't know how to describe to you because
She's
it wasn't
lost
making
where she
sense.
was in the story
It
now.
wasn't making sense.
She's lost where she was in the story because she got interrupted. Bam.
I
Wow.
don't know how.
This is what makes me think
I don't
she's
know how
making it up
the
on the way as she
immediate
goes. She's
next
fucking red hot
string
in it.
of the next part of the violence actually even initiated, but again he has me up against the wall, and I remember this time he slams me up against the wall hard. I mean, I hit my head hard, and this is a
Hard,
wall
bro.
next to the. I say kitchenette,
Hard.
but it's
In case
more
you
of a
missed it.
bar.
Hard.
I remember there were these cooling fridges, and I remember kind of being slammed up against those. I remember pushing him off of me. I remember the name calling, the whore, the slut, the fat ass.
Bro, evidence.
I remember a lot of name calling.
A lot of name calling, but you can only
I
recall
said,
2 words.
Had he been drinking by this time?
Yeah, fucking
was
oath.
Calls for speculation and leading.
Yeah.
No, I'll sustain as to leading.
What, if any, drinks had you observed Mr. Depp have by this time?
Leading?
Well, I had already seen him drink right in front of me. Took a big swig
sorry,
out of
guys,
a wine
hang on
bottle
again.
upstairs, right in front of me, in a.
All right.
Gesture of looked right at me and took a big swig out of it as a like
Well,
a show for did it right in my face to make a point. And then when I came downstairs, he
Yes,
was
mate.
drinking from the bottle. I don't know what kind of liquor. I remember there was another
Yes,
bottle
mate.
open, and I was wondering why he was drinking both.
Yes, mate.
But
I'm going to press that button every time I think she
at
lies.
some point, he had me up against the wall next to the
Yes,
cooling
mate.
fridges, and I remember slamming my head up against
Yes,
the thing.
mate.
He had me by the neck,
Yes, mate.
squeezing my neck,
Yes, mate.
and it got really nasty. It went from
Yes, mate.
like, oh, no one likes you, no
Yes,
one likes
mate.
me, everyone warned me about you.
Yes, mate.
That's what it was. He started to tell me that everyone had warned him about me.
I actually believe that.
And that he wished he
I
had
actually
never
believe that everyone probably warned him.
married me, wish he had never met me.
Yes, mate.
No one liked me. It sounds.
Actually, no, I take that one back. I actually
childish, but
believe all of that too.
I remember
I
feeling
would
really
wish I'd
hurt.
never met her.
And
To this
then
day, if I was
at
him
some
sitting there right now,
point,
I would
shoved
wish that
him
I'd
hard
never
to get him
met
off
her.
me. And he shoved me back and he said, "You want to go,
Yes,
little
mate.
girl?"
Yes, mate.
I couldn't, as I
that?
sit here today, tell
Yes,
you
mate.
if that happened before he choked me up against the wall, but at some point,
Yes, mate.
You couldn't tell us because
I
it's
am
hard
in
to know.
in a struggle
about
with him where I'm
a
holding
made-up
his
situation, isn't it?
shirt lapel,
Yes, mate.
and he kind of just flings me, for lack of a better way to describe it,
Yes, mate.
throws me
Yes, mate.
across the room. I land
Yes,
on
mate.
a games table.
Yes,
It's like a
mate.
ping pong table.
Yes, mate.
And I don't know if I was holding on to him or if
Yes, mate.
he pursued me separate, but he
Yes, mate.
gets on top of me on the
Yes, mate.
games table
Yes, mate.
and is just whacking me in the face.
Yes, mate. Yes, mate. Yes, mate. Yes, mate.
uh,
Yes,
like
mate.
repetitive.
Yes, mate.
We struggle on the games table. I don't
Yes,
know.
mate.
I don't know
Yes,
how we get up. I don't know if he pulls me up.
Yes,
I wish
mate.
I could tell you, but we
Yes, mate. Yes, mate. Yes, mate.
were
Yes,
in
mate.
this
Yes,
struggle
mate.
down
Yes,
in
mate.
this
Yes, mate. Yes,
this
mate. Yes,
games
mate. Yes,
room
mate. Yes,
by
mate.
the bar.
Yes, mate. Yes, mate. Yes, mate. Yes, mate.
And
Yes, mate.
and we had this conversation about the drinking or
Yes,
argument
mate.
about the drinking,
mate.
and he holds up this
Yes, mate.
bottle
Yes, mate.
to me, and you know, I'm saying,
Yes, mate. Yes,
did you
mate.
drink
Yes,
this
mate.
whole
Yes,
thing?
mate. Yes, mate. Yes, mate.
Something stupid,
Yes,
focusing
mate.
on this detail, and he is
Yes,
telling me
mate.
that I can't control him anymore,
Yes, mate.
and that if I really, if I really wanted to try, take it, and then
Yes,
he's
mate.
like taunting me to take the bottle from him.
Yes, mate.
If I really want him to stop, why don't I take it from him?
Actually,
go on,
you know
go
what?
on.
That bit I believe, but I
Saying,
believe
"Go
the
on."
context
And kind of
is
gesturing
not
with the
accurate.
the bottle towards me, and like he does that 2 or 3 times. I reach for it, he'd revoke it, kind of laugh at me.
I believe this bit.
and
I believe
he's
this bit. I
holding
just
out
don't believe the lead up to
bottle.
it.
I think like maybe the 3rd time or so I get a hold of it. I pick it up and I slam it down on the ground.
Because I
in
believe that
between
she
us.
would drive anyone to
It's a
drink.
tile floor, a white tile floor.
She remembers
And I
the
smashed
color of the
them all on
tiles.
the floor.
Yes, mate.
Yes, mate.
And
Yes,
that
mate.
really set him off.
Yes, mate. Yes, mate. Yes, mate.
So stupid.
Yes, mate.
Sorry. He's, it was like a light bulb switch went off.
Relatable.
started screaming.
I've had a light bulb switch go off in my head. Must be true.
I don't know if he backhanded me or hit me normally.
Yes, mate.
I don't really recall.
It's hard to
but I
know
remember it
what
sent me
someone
down to the
doesn't do.
ground. I remember by the time I pick myself off the floor, I stand up.
Yes, mate. Yes, mate. Yes, yes, mate.
He's got a bottle in his hand, and he threw it at me. It missed, thankfully,
Yes,
but
mate. Yes, mate. Yes, mate.
I kind of pulled myself back into the bar area. I don't know how much time passed, but at some point he had a broken bottle up against my face, neck area by my jawline.
Yes,
and
mate. Yes, mate.
he told me he'd carve up my face.
Yes, mate.
I don't know at what point in the evening. I couldn't tell you what sequence-wise when that happened, but it was
Sorry about that.
terrifying.
Just moving my
It wasn't
little
the first time he said that to me. He
closer.
said that to me on the plane as well.
Yes, mate. Yes, mate. Yes, mate.
But this time he was holding a broken bottle
Yes, mate.
to me.
Yes, mate.
I honestly don't remember if I.
Anytime
during
she
the
says, "Oh, I
inspection,
honestly don't remember," I
don't
believe
think
it.
I did. I just remember him having me by the nightgown.
Yes, mate.
I remember him flailing me, or throwing
Yes,
me
mate.
around. I'm flailing.
Yes, mate.
This is after there were some bottles broken on the floor. I think this is actually after,
I believe that.
again, forgive me, I wish I could remember the sequence,
Yes,
but
mate.
it's flashes.
Ah,
He's throwing these bottles at me. I remember retreating. There were also cans, like soda cans, beer or soda cans, and they're coming at me one after the other, and I keep pulling myself into the bar area. There's a bar behind me in like a, I don't know, like an L shape. He's standing in the only way you can exit, so I'm kind of trapped in front of this sink. surrounded by bar on 3 sides with him in front of me ish, kind of front off to the left, and he's throwing these bottles one after the other, and I can feel glass breaking behind me.
It's the first thing she's felt. She can feel the glass breaking behind her.
I mean, a velocity,
Couldn't feel the slaps. Couldn't feel the
I remember being
punches.
terrified. I remember I couldn't move. I couldn't go anywhere.
Yes, mate. Yes, mate. Yes, mate.
I eventually,
yes, mate.
trying
Yes,
to,
mate. Yes,
I don't
mate.
know,
Yes,
he
mate.
ran
Yes,
out of
mate.
things to
Cool
say.
story,
I
bro.
moved
Yes, mate.
myself
Yes, mate.
towards the exit, and I believe that's most likely when we got kind of in this struggle by the bar area, because I remember my feet slipping on the tile as he
Yes,
was
mate.
slamming me from the wall
Yes, mate.
to the countertops.
Yes, mate.
At one point, he has me up against the wall, and
This
he's
is
punching
so
the wall.
fucking out there.
Yes, mate.
He had my
Like legit.
nightgown.
She's
and it
so
kind of ripped it
disconnected
off my
from
chest.
reality.
I remember at one point he's teasing me, taunting me that he has my my breast in his hand.
Yes, mate.
My nightgown came completely off. It was ripped
Yes, mate.
off of me. So I was naked
Yes, mate.
and flipping around on this tile and trying to get my footing.
This is
And I think I
so
was slipping
fucking
on this
disgusting.
Tile glass was
Bro,
underneath
shut
me, and I
up.
remember just trying to get my footing. You know, I felt really
Yes, mate.
destabilized and felt
Yes, mate.
really vulnerable. I'm naked.
Yes, mate.
And he's flinging me around, and
Yes,
at some
mate.
point,
Still no tears.
I'm up against the wall,
Yes,
and
mate.
he's screaming at me that
Yes,
he
mate.
fucking hates me.
Yes, Yes, mate. mate. Yes,
Yes,
mate.
ruined his life.
Yes, mate.
I remember I ruined his life over and
Yes,
over.
mate.
And he starts punching the wall next to my head,
Yes, mate.
holding me by the neck. I get free from him. I
Yes,
kind of
mate.
step back from him, and it's like his energy shifted to the phone. There's a wall-mounted phone on the wall next
Oh,
to
the
where
one
my
that
head was.
everybody
And
that
he
was
went
there
from punching
did not
the
see
wall
broken.
to like realizing there was a phone there,
That
and he picked
phone.
up the phone and he's screaming. He's "Rah!" like at the top of his lungs,
Yes, mate.
screaming, "I fucking hate you! I fucking
Yes,
hate
mate.
you! You ruined my fucking life!" And screaming
Yes,
at the
mate.
top of his lungs, he picks up the phone and starts bashing the phone against the wall where I was just being held. And I remember kind of having some distance on what was happening and watching him do this. And it was like his energy had shifted, and I was that phone all of a sudden. And he was just over
mate.
and over again, smashing this phone into the wall over and over again, screaming at me. And I was watching the phone every single time he pulled his
Yes,
hand
mate.
back. It was just breaking into
Yes, mate.
pieces.
Yes,
I-
mate. Yes, mate. Yes, mate.
I remember
Yes, mate.
thinking
Yes,
this
mate.
phone
Yes,
is
mate.
disappearing,
Yes,
was
mate.
smashing
Yes,
it to
yes, mate. Yes,
smithereens,
mate.
just
Yes,
going
yes,
into
mate.
the
Yes,
wall.
mate. Yes, mate. Yes, mate. Yes, mate. Yes, mate. Yes,
And-
yes, mate. 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 Yes,
He's on
mate.
top of no phone, but screaming the same thing. I fucking hate you. You ruined my fucking life. I'm on the countertop. He had me by the neck. And he felt like he was on top of me.
How did we get
and
there?
I'm looking at him.
Now
in
they're
his
both on the
eyes,
counter and he's on top of her.
And I don't see him anymore.
What?
I don't see him anymore. It wasn't him. It was black. I've never been so scared in my life. It was black. I couldn't see him. And he was.
What is this, bro?
looking at me,
What is
and I
this?
was trying
What
to
the
get through to
fuck
him. I was
is
trying
this?
to say to him in some way that it was me. I was trying to get through to Johnny. And I couldn't see him. I couldn't see him at all. And my head was bashing against the back of the bar, and
Bruh.
I couldn't breathe. And I remember trying to get up, and I was slipping on the glass. My feet were slipping, my arms were slipping on the countertops, and I remember just trying to get up so I could breathe, so I could tell him that he was really hurting me. I didn't think he knew what he was doing.
This is fucking insulting to anyone who's
don't know
ever
how-
grown up in a domestically violent situation, which I did. This is fucking putrid. Fuck her, mate. fuck her. I don't give a fuck. I honestly don't give a fuck. This is fucking putrid. Have a go at it. Have a go at it. This is fucking putrid. She is playing
I don't know.
on others' fucking.
I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
Are you fucking serious, cunt? Bro, no tears. No tears, brother. No fucking tears. Are you
couldn't breathe.
fucking... I thought it couldn't get any worse.
I couldn't.
I honestly
get up.
thought
I
it could
couldn't
not
get
get
up.
any more intense.
And I
Just
don't
me,
know
eh?
how that
There are
ended. I don't
literally...
know.
Brother, there are literally no
I don't
fucking
know
tears.
how. I don't know what happened next. I don't understand.
Bitch, you're not crying.
The next thing I
No,
remember,
there are no tears there to wipe away, doll.
I was bent over backwards.
Holy
on the bar,
fucking
my
shit.
chest was up. I was staring at the blue light, and my chest was on this
Make it
my back was
fucking
on the
stop.
countertops, and I thought he was punching me. I thought he was. I'm sorry.
This is fucking painful. And not the kind of painful like, oh, I feel her pain. This is... There are no tears, eh? I'm not imagining it, eh? No, there's
I
not.
felt this
Her
pressure.
eyes are dry. I've got her on the big screen over here. Her eyes
Oh
are
my God,
dry
my
as a
God.
fucking whetstone,
I
bruh.
thought he was
Bro, you're not... You're literally not fucking crying,
I
cunt.
just saw his arm. I could feel his arm moving, and it looked like he was punching me.
I'm just going to do something for a
I
second
could
here.
just feel this pressure. It was like...
So when she turned last time, you could see, just here, you could see the light, right? You could see the time I said there was one tear. You could see that there. Bro, there's no fucking
Don't
tears
know.
there this time. What the fuck, bro? This is fucking intense, man.
I don't...
Word, I really hope that she is held to account for this behaviour,
I just remember
because this
being
is
really still,
fucking not on, man.
not wanting to move.
This is fucking not on.
I remember looking around the room. I remember looking at all the broken bottles.
Bro, this
broken
is
glass.
fucking not on. Show
And
us
I
your
remember
eyes.
that it's just not wanting to move because I didn't know if it was broken. I didn't know if the bottle that he had inside me was broken. I couldn't
What?
feel it. I couldn't feel it. I didn't feel pain. I didn't feel pain. I didn't feel anything. I didn't want it. I looked around and I saw so much broken glass that I didn't know if he would know. If he would know, I didn't know if he would know if it was broken or not. And I just remember thinking, please, God, please. I hope it's not broken. I don't know how that ended. I don't
This is
know
my
how.
least favourite Johnny
I
Depp
got off the
movie.
countertop.
Yeah, word, she's crazy.
I just remember it being in the bathroom. I remember retching. I remember the sound my voice was making. I remember I lost control of my bladder. I remember just retching. I remember there was blood on the floor.
100%, bro. She's lying because she won't look in the judge's eyes. 100%, bro. 150%. She's looking everywhere but there. And
got it up.
I don't know if you saw earlier when
At some point,
when she squeezed out one tear, right? You could see when she looked that way, the way she's looking now, it was all shiny. Yeah, bro.
I don't know how.
100%. She's full of shit, bro. And like, legit,
I don't remember.
it's fucking annoying, right?
I don't
Because
remember.
I grew
I
up in like
remember him begging me not to
like
leave.
we had DV in my
I
family growing
remember
up, you know?
Going
And
outside the front door.
this is fucking insulting.
I remember him.
Do you know what I mean? Not just to Johnny Depp or whatever. This is fucking insulting to everyone who's ever been in that situation.
was
It's
before or
fucking
after this,
putrid, bro.
I don't remember. I just have that
Everyone
memory.
should be mad because this is gonna fuck
remember-
things for everyone. Sorry, it's
taking
fucking
a bunch of
annoying,
sleeping
man.
Pills. Not a bunch, like 2, which is a lot for me. I remember falling asleep, or
And her stories are
I
like
don't remember falling asleep. But I know I fell asleep
she remembers like
'cause
the
I woke
dirt
up
on the
next
carpet.
day.
Bro, it's not what you
I
remember.
assume it
There was
was
a bit
late
just
morning.
before where she's like, he slammed me and I remember my skin running across the floor.
He,
Okay,
I could
right.
hear him
I've been in
downstairs.
heaps of fights as a kid.
I could hear Marilyn Manson.
Couldn't tell you once what the surface
music,
that I landed
not
on
in
was
person.
like.
I could
Not
hear the
fucking
music.
once.
Maybe he said it was
That's
Marilyn,
not
or
what you remember. You get punched in the
maybe I
head.
could, recognize it. I don't remember, but I.
Yeah, she
I'm
shit
aware
in his
that's
bed.
what I was
And at what point did you
hearing
go,
was
oh, okay,
blaring.
I'll just shit in his bed and that'll be okay?
It became
Because I'm
clear.
so scared of him.
Obvious to me when I walked downstairs.
None
he
of
was
it
still
adds up.
He hadn't gone
And
to
she's
sleep.
telling, like, did you
bed.
see the thing about the dog?
I walked
You
downstairs.
see the thing about the
and
dog?
I saw this.
So you know how she told the story about him holding the dog
brown
out the window?
on the
That was
walls
her?
going down the stairs,
Bro.
and the brown on the walls became clear.
sorry.
Like it became clear, like lettering,
Check this out.
and then it was obvious it was dried blood. He had written down this that we had a spiral staircase, like white cream walls. There was blood on the carpet. I could see blood drips. I thought it was from my arms or feet, but it was drips. So that plus the wall writing, I saw this.
So she's doing that thing where you
letters
use,
on the
like-
wall, and then
You
realized
use a bit of the truth
that he was trying
so that you
it
can
was
trick
meant
yourself
to be a
easy into
message, but it was
thinking that
incoherent.
what you're saying is the truth.
I saw what looked like my name.
Fucked, bro.
But I really couldn't make out most of the rest of the message. Walking down the stairs, I saw a bird in the house.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
surreal.
But she gave testimony
Down
yesterday
to the main level where
saying
my
that it was
painting
Johnny Depp
studio
that did it.
was,
So
and I
last
had
night,
some
of course, that
canvases
went
out.
viral on the
And it was
internet,
in the
like
living room area.
that it wasn't Johnny that held the dog out of the car. It
by
was
the
her.
time
And
I
there's a
got
video
down
of
to
it. She
the
filmed it.
bottom of the stairs. The dried blood had been kind of taken over by paint. It was blue, navy blue paint, and then brown paint. And then it was, on the walls, on the lampshades, pillowcases of the sofa cushions. There was blood. In
And
the
how
painting
quickly she
studio,
just
the
snaps
paint,
back to
my
normal. Like she was
canvases had been covered with
devastated
what
a
looked
moment
like
ago.
just
Now she's just
brown,
like, oh yeah, and then there was this, and then there was that.
Green, red mess. It was just a
Oh,
mess. There was a painting that
No
had,
doubt. Yeah, mate.
a painting that the owners had that had, like
And people have already given testimony
giant
that
penis on
fucking
it,
just
and
see,
some
like the
other
penis thing. The guy who cleaned the
things
house
with the
testified there was
table
no penis
overturned,
on any
bunch
painting
of
anywhere in
broken
the
glass
house.
on
That's
that-
not a
on
thing.
that floor. I walked downstairs where I heard the music.
But because she'd
coming
already
from,
put it in her deposition, she's
and that's where
got
I
to
found
stick to
him,
the story. Otherwise, it's going to be
blaring
worse
this
for her.
music. He was in the study, which is in the by the bar games table area off to the side, and it was just glass and blood and broken windows and a broken window,
mate.
and it looked like a mess. The table was collapsed.
Yeah,
and I-
fully. And she's done it
walked
heaps of
into the
times,
study,
bro. Just
I was a couple unbroken empty bottles. I remember wondering where they came
she remembers
from.
all these fucking details, but then can't remember like other basic stuff.
And he just looked, he wasn't there anymore.
Like when she
wasn't
took
there.
the fucking mushroom trip and
wasn't
remembered
Johnny.
real specific details about one
He was
thing,
standing
then
at the office
nothing,
desk.
and then
He
real specific details about her dog stepping on a bee
Had
afterwards.
his hand wrapped in this like rags or bandana rags, and I think he took them down or somehow showed me, and he said, "Look what you made me do. I did this for you," something to that effect.
So that's where this has all
And
been going. Well,
I kind of put together, it was covered in paint.
yeah,
And I
mate.
put together that's like he was using his finger.
No
I quickly
shit.
became aware that that's what he was using as a paintbrush, even though there was lots of paintbrushes around. And we didn't have any sort of like coherent conversation, as you can imagine. I figured out he was
She's a
missing a finger and
psychopath,
kind of
bro.
held it up, and I said, "What did
Whoa,
you do?
man.
What did you do? When?" And I realized in my head that there had
Fuck
been many hours
me.
since this probably happened, assuming that was happened with the phone.
Oh,
And in any case, I knew it had been way
Get the
too long, that
fuck
he had
out.
had this blood, that he was bleeding, and I said,
out.
"I'm going to call 911 if you don't call Jerry now."
so
I
this is
don't-
why she
I
was
still
like
don't recall which
hysteric
of
when
us,
everyone got to the house, eh?
Called Jerry
interesting,
Judge,
'cause she sounds-
his security.
Sounds like she's got her shit together here.
At some point, we went upstairs. He came upstairs, but he went up to the third floor
Fucking
while I was in
wow,
the
she's a
main floor, the
psychopath,
entry level
brother.
floor.
She's
I went to make him a
out
cup of
there.
coffee because he was demanding more Red Bull. And
You're making coffees, were you?
I was thinking, that's probably not a good idea. I don't know why coffee would be so much better, but in my head it was. I thought maybe, I don't know, sober him up, or I don't know. Help was coming though. And I remember I made him coffee. As soon as I handed it to him, he threw it at the TV and started screaming again. It was like back to square one. Shortly after that, security arrives. I don't know how long, maybe
really
a few
hope
seconds
that
or
the
minutes went by. Not
Fucking
long, but
jury
they
is
kind of
is seeing this
find Johnny,
for what it
or
is.
Johnny finds them walking out of the front door.
Legit.
And they were trying to figure out what was going on. And as they were kind of looking at him and trying to figure out what the heck was going on, Johnny took his penis out of his pants and started trying to pee or peeing outside of the house.
Oh, it's outside the
saying
house
that
now.
he had more messages for me. And this is in front of security. And they
Right,
kinda
because
just,
security
like,
testified that didn't happen
Looked at
already.
each other and
so
looked at him and kind of not laughed, but kind of
awkward.
half, played it off and corralled him. It was how it looked. It looked like corralling a wild animal.
Oh, this is why all the
Back into the
testimony
house with,
earlier about
you
how
know,
security just let him get away with everything.
With his penis still out of his
So
pants,
the
peeing or
insinuation
trying to
being
pee,
that,
and that's what
that
he
they're
was
covering
indicating,
for
went
him
to the
and he
wall of
did
the house,
pee and he did have his dick out.
I remember him
and,
standing at the wall trying to.
and they all just
leave
are
me
denying
more-
it because everyone
saying he
knows
was
that you
gonna
don't
get
talk
more
shit about Johnny Depp.
information for me. He was going to leave me more more messages, more information for me. It made no sense. And
Actually, it makes a heap of sense for
Jerry
someone who's in a
Judge,
state
his
like you're saying he was
security,
in. It
and one
makes
of the,
way too much sense.
nurses,
Like you're saying he was crazed,
shortly after, I think they put me in the theater room, but
he
I-
has
shortly
more
after,
information
I remember
for
talking to
you
one of the
in
nurses, and she was
urine.
trying to give me drugs to sedate
Objection,
me.
Your Honor.
Trying to give her drugs. She didn't say anything.
Ah,
Keep going.
And I just remember,
bro, she's on 11.
I just remember crying and rejecting what they were trying to give me, and
She
fighting
is
with them
on
about
11,
how much they
bro.
were trying to give me. I felt like I needed to figure out what was happening with my life, what was happening with Johnny. I didn't know if he was okay. I didn't know.
Shut up.
I actually had no idea, like, could this be something he could die from? If anything, just the drugs and the alcohol. I mean, that alone, I didn't, I just remember being scared and being in this theater room, this dark theater room, and not knowing what the heck was going on. And I eventually was taken up to
Yes,
my room
mate.
by one of the nurses, and I'm sorry, Debbie, and or suggesting I go up to my room. I went up to my room, and I took a quarter of what she was trying to get me to take, and I eventually fell asleep. I came back downstairs to look for my phone, which Johnny had picked up before security came in. He picked up my phone and said, "We're going to get to the bottom of this." He wasn't making any sense at the time. Understandably, just different. Nothing made sense. But he picked up my phone and was
I
saying,
feel
"We're
like
going
she
to get
just
to
tripped
the
herself up
We're
there
gonna,
and then
I'm
went,
gonna
"Oh
prove
shit,
this. We're
can't
gonna
say
get
that."
to this. We're going to get to the proof of this. Something to that effect. I don't remember his exact words.
I think that was a slip.
And he pushed record on my phone. I didn't actually at the time think that he had done that. I had no idea, but I did know that I didn't have my phone when I woke up and went downstairs to get it. It was dead. It was sitting out on the dining room table
This
by
is
where
her
Jerry Judge was
covering.
sitting.
This is her covering
Jerry
as
Judge
to
was on the
why
phone and talked to me, and I went back up
she
to bed.
recorded the whole thing.
Took more of
I
this
reckon.
Sedative and fell asleep.
Interesting.
And then I think the next day went to the closet and took out the clothes that he hadn't painted on. I guess when he went back upstairs, he had just like, it looked like what he had done is dip his hand in a bucket of paint and just wiped it on my clothes. Just went, and he had picked up another.
See, some of this I
portion of my
believe,
clothes
like
and
that
put
I
them in the
believe.
bathtub, and I don't know if he added paint or if he just had touched them with paint, but it was this ugly navy blue brown paint. I packed what was hackable, what hadn't been destroyed, and eventually left Australia with Ben King, who you met on the way there.
Who said very different
Let me
things
stop
about
you there,
you.
because I want to ask you some more questions about those 3 days, and then we can talk about Ben King and going home. So, do you recall what bottle Mr. Depp was drinking from and then had that back and forth with you and you threw on the ground?
Objection, Your Honor, compound leading.
Sustained.
Do you recall what the bottle was?
No, I don't.
Do you recall whether it was wine or liquor?
It was liquor.
Do you,
The wine was upstairs.
do you recall what color
Excuse me.
it was?
Well, I believe it was white, or I mean clear, but I can't be certain. I think it was clear.
Do you remember whether it had a handle on it or not?
No, it was a normal bottle. I remember because he was holding it like this and gestured to me to take it. And I did try to reach for the bottle. It was a normal
But you don't remember.
size, but for the life of me, I can't remember like what brand.
Okay. When you woke up that third morning and came out of your room, what, if any, food did you see?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Objection,
was-
Your Honor, leading.
There was mashed potatoes smeared all over the bedroom door, on the wall, in various places. But I remember opening the door and being really confused at first as to what it was. It had little like specks of green in it, I assumed to be spinach. And throughout the house, there was food rubbed in places, just countertops, walls, doors, as I mentioned. And
Remember, she got raped with a
later that
fucking
evening,
alcohol bottle.
I found
In this story that she's
the raw
delivering
meat
like this,
that I had left out, the
she
steak.
got raped with an alcohol bottle.
All over the house, there were pieces of it.
Look in her
It
eyes.
was cut up. And
I don't know about
he
you,
ripped
but
my
she doesn't
nightgown
seem like she's
into
telling a story where she got
pieces into
raped with an
shreds
alcohol
and
bottle.
Wrapped the meat.
I just don't get that feel
like
from it.
wrapped the steak
Yeah, wrapping
pieces up with
wrapping
my
steak
nightgown.
pieces. Yep.
It was this really beautiful burgundy silk
How many
nightgown
hours
that
after you got
had
raped with
this
the
black
alcohol
lace
bottle was
trim.
this?
I ironically got it from Dr. Kipper for a wedding gift.
Right.
And it was wrapped. I found it. I continued to find it throughout the rest of the time that I was in the house in Australia. There's pieces of it in the microwave, pieces of it in the produce drawer, in the closet drawer. I mean, just
Seems legit.
raw meat wrapped up in my
way.
nightgown,
Right.
as well as the smeared food on the walls.
Yeah.
It was bizarre.
Certainly is a bizarre
What,
story.
if anything, do you recall seeing on any mirrors?
Oh, he had written.
Objection, leading.
He had written on the bathroom mirrors in the bedroom, and I believe he had. There was another mirror. I just don't recall which bathroom it was in. I suppose it was the one that I went to, which is on the very bottom level, where I was retching, for lack
mirrors.
of a better way to describe it. I think it was in that bathroom that he also wrote on that mirror as well.
Mirror.
What, if anything, do you recall?
In blood and paint, sorry.
I'm sorry. What, if anything, do you recall of any
Blood or paint?
lampshades being written on?
Well, he wrote on messages to me, things to the effect of go-getter, horror sort of thing, like that sort of language. But calling me easy, calling me a slut, calling me, like just things about ego and what a whore I was. But it was hard to make sense of it because it was clear he was just out of his mind. He wrote on a back of a pillow in blood. And you can tell because it dries like in this ugly brown color. He wrote on the walls going downstairs. Like it took in fact, you could see where it looked like he had run out of blood because the messages became, the markings became clearly letters. And the letters kind of became, like I could see where he had clearly run out of blood or it wasn't bleeding enough and went and got paint. And then it became paint and blood. You could see both. You could see where he went back with it. Same with the mirrors. I could see where all the dried blood was. And then I could see a different set of markings with paint and some other material.
Mirrors.
So I'm going to go back to
Mirrors?
the time in the bar, and I know this is
Mirrors?
very painful. Do you recall
Mirror.
what Mr. Depp was saying to you when he had the bottle and was pushing it against your pubic bone?
He said that he would fucking kill me. I'll fucking kill you. He said it to me over and over again.
Legit?
He said, I'll fucking kill you.
He said he'll...
Did you bleed from the
my
vagina? as
fucking
well?
head hurts,
I
cunt.
did.
And did you experience any pain later?
I didn't
Oh, get
wasn't
out.
thinking about that.
Fuck it off.
I was heartbroken. Eventually, I realized that I
Fuck
could
it
be
off.
hurt because I was
Yeah.
bleeding.
Yeah, mate.
But
Yes, mate.
I convinced myself it wasn't broken and that the bottle wasn't broken or else it would be a lot worse. And the discomfort I was feeling afterwards just paled in comparison to how scared, shocked I was. I'm scared. I just married this man. I just married him.
And the BAFTA goes
Forgive me
to...
for asking this, but I need to just make sure the record's clear. You were penetrated up the vagina into the pubic bone, is that correct?
Objection, Your Honor. Leading.
Sustained.
What, if any, penetration was there in your vagina? With the bottle.
Leading?
I'm so sorry.
Do this.
I am so sorry.
Johnny had the bottle inside of me.
Wow, cunt. Staring right at him. Staring him down. Staring him down.
Shoving it inside of
The
me over and
victim?
over again.
Is on the stand, angrily, protesting her story
Did you
while staring
experience
down
any
the
cuts
perpetrator.
on
Staring
other
him
parts of
down.
your body?
I wonder how many times that's happened in the past with
arms
victims
were
giving
cut.
evidence. I wonder how many
My bottoms of my
victims
feet were sliced up pretty good.
give their evidence staring down
Other bruising
at the perpetrator.
or swelling?
I had
Angrily.
a bruise across my jaw, I suppose, from
Fuck it off.
one of the many times he clocked me in the face downstairs.
No medical record of that injury, though.
I think I just didn't make a record of anything else.
I'm going to ask
Wow.
you to turn to,
Fucking wow. How many hours have
let's
we got?
go
to go?
to
Fuck my life.
1810. Well, actually, let's go to 1815.
This is a lot, man.
Michelle, if you can bring that up.
It's
Defendants
a fucking
1815.
lot.
And I think these are all in, Your Honor, so if we
Yes,
could
yes,
publish.
they can all be published.
Is this the game table?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And is this, based on your testimony, is this where you were you on top of this table?
Yeah, that he briefly got on top of me.
So he was on top of you, on top of
and
that.
was pushing on my throat, actually, at some point when I was on the table. I had forgotten about that. And this, though, looks like it is after a lot of the stuff was cleaned up, because it didn't look quite like this.
Okay. And did the table collapse?
Yes, it did.
Objection, Your Honor, leading.
Sustained.
What, if anything, happened to the table?
The table collapsed underneath me when Johnny threw me into it and got on top of me, or fell on top of me. I honestly don't know which one.
We could look at 1816, please, defendants. Do you recognize this, what's depicted in this picture?
Yes,
What is it?
it looks like the bottles that were by Johnny on the desk when I came down that last morning, and he was still up, still drinking.
If we could go to defendants 1817.
So when was that photo taken then? You're saying this was taken beforehand?
The bottle shape. The bottle shape.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I don't, I have not,
Go back to 1816, please.
Here we
Your
go.
Honor,
I had,
confused. Is there a question?
I've got
You
to,
want to ask a question?
What more do you recall?
you had, sorry, it took me a minute to respond because
Because you see, usually
It's
victims
hard,
are rushing through this because it's
it took me a
difficult to
minute
talk about.
respond because I had not remembered
This is not
seeing
normal.
the bottle that Johnny was using on me.
Be reminded, though,
haven't-
she has access to all these photos and
I
would have
didn't
seen
have a
them.
memory of seeing it.
She would have seen this photo numerous
And
times, like countless
This
times
picture,
between now
I wasn't aware
and
of
then.
until
So she's saying that this is the
just
first time
the
she's
day,
seen this
yesterday, the day
photo.
before. And
Yesterday, the day.
and I felt my stomach tighten up, like I was going to be sick when I saw it. Because even though I didn't remember seeing the bottle, what I had remembered is a pressure, like something square, which is why I thought he was punching me. I was feeling the square, something firm hitting me, like butting up against my pubic bone. Over and over again, I felt that pressure against my bone. It felt like a flat surface. But
Bro.
when I realized it was an object or bottle and not his fist, which is what I thought, because his arm, I could see his arm while he was holding me down, saying, he was going to kill me, but I thought he was, you know, his arm looked like he was punching me. And I hadn't seen this bottle. I didn't know. And then this came out in Ben's evidence because he didn't share it until this date.
Objection, Your
until this
Honor.
trial.
Sustained.
And so I recognize it.
All right, now let's go to defendants 1817.
Be interesting to look back to when this picture came out and see what her face looks like.
Do you recognize this area or this picture?
Yes, it looks like one area of the bar. Obviously, this is sometime later because all the liquid is dried up. It's quite slippery. I was slipping all over that tile. That's how I know.
But the blood
Looks
splattered
like a lot
there.
of the glass has been cleaned up almost.
Bullshit.
Okay. And then
Bullshit.
let's go to 1818.
Because that blood splatter there, if that was in water, it'd look different.
Actually, I think
I'm
that's-
And it'd be
which-
spread
yeah, I
around.
don't have that.
That's
no.
not in evidence.
Yeah, that's a duplicate. Let's go to 1819. My apologies.
Okay.
Do you recognize this?
Yes, I do.
What is this?
This is close to where my feet were when I was dangling off the counter. When he had me on the countertop by my neck, my feet were slipping on the tile, and I just remember my feet. I remember feeling glass underneath my feet and slipping. I couldn't get up. I couldn't alleviate the pressure on my neck as he was crushing me. That's around that, not around, that's next to that.
Bro, this is a lot.
All the way at the end of the picture is the bar where I was standing when he was throwing bottles at me.
Can we go to 1820? Do you recognize what's depicted here? The area.
Yes, that's to the left would be where the wall-mounted phone was. Right to the left of that. To the right of that is the
Where are the
little
photos of the
L-shaped
phone?
bar that I was telling you about. where I
Because
was
no one in the
trapped
house saw the phone. So you would have
And when
taken
you
photos
say
of it,
to
right?
the left of the wall,
I'm
what do you
sorry.
mean? Is it off the picture or on the picture?
So if you're looking at this picture, imagine up and to the left at person height, at site height, was I don't know if it was antique, but it kind of looked old-fashioned, like an old-fashioned heavy. It looked heavy. I didn't pick up the receiver, but it looked heavy when I was watching it break. You know, it looked like these like really heavy glass. Excuse me. It's really thick, heavy, not plastic, but like a Bakelite or something heavy material on it. That's my best guess. So that would have been to the left, and then to the right would have been the very end of the bar that you just saw a picture of.
So there'd be bits of phone all over the
All
floor
right, let's go to 1821.
in that photo, right?
Defendants. And do you recognize what's depicted in this photo?
Yes, that's the bar that I was just talking about.
Okay. Now, I see a phone on the right side. Is that the phone you were talking about?
No, that's not. This is a wall-mounted phone. That's just a landline.
A landline.
You see straight ahead at the
I'm a
very
licensed cabler. The landline's the
look straight
connection. It's
ahead
got
of the
nothing to do with the
picture,
phone. You can put
on the
any
top
connection on the end of a
part
landline.
of that,
You put a
it
modem
appears
on
to
it.
be some broken glass. Do you recall, what do you recall of that?
I recall more than just this window being broken. This is one of the windows that he broke when he was throwing things at me. My body was standing in front of that little kitchen sink you see at the end of the picture. I suppose that's some of the glass I felt, though, on the backs of my arms. Like when the window shattered.
But if something was thrown through it, all of the glass. This has
1822.
been proven in numerous cases. An object goes through a window,
1822,
glass
I
does
don't
not
have
land
in
this
evidence.
side of the window.
1822 is not in evidence.
So that would
I
be
thought
none
that's
of
exactly why I
what
just
fell
went
on the
over
back
here.
of her
Let's go
arms.
to 1825, I think. Is that the next one, Your Honor?
1825 is in evidence. I'm not sure.
Okay.
There's so many holes here.
Do you recognize this picture?
Yes, that's where Johnny was standing when I found him the last morning. That morning, it might have been like midday. When I say morning, it was after I woke up. It was certainly not early morning. And he was standing at that desk, behind the desk, with the Manson blaring. When I found him and told him that I was going to call 911 if he didn't call Jerry.
If you look in this picture, there appears to be a lampshade down below. Do you recognize that lampshade down below the table?
That's one of the lampshades Johnny wrote threats or messages to me on.
Okay. Then let's go to 1827. Do you recognize this?
Yes, I do. That's my painting studio. So when I walked downstairs and saw all the blood on the walls, I walked into this room first. That's where the stairs empty into this room, kind of my painting area.
Her
And those are
painting
the
area
canvases that he
that he'd
repainted.
set up for.
And do you see, if you look by the white tablecloth table to the right of that, do you see a lampshade there?
Yes, I don't know if that's the same lampshade or another one.
Okay. Then let's go to
It's
1828.
that same one.
And do you recognize what's in that one?
I do. Those are were my paintings. That I don't know when he did that, if it was before or after the writing on the walls, but he just ruined them.
So I just want to make sure, so the painting canvas that's dark colored, there's two of them there.
Well, there's two or three, and then there's a smaller one in the center, and that was his daughter. I was trying to paint a portrait of, and that was untouched.
Okay, and then, but just so we're clear, the one directly in front of you that looks like it's just a lot of dark colors, was that dark colors before, or
I am
Objection, Your Honor, leading.
I said, was that dark colors before?
I'll sustain the objection.
What, if any, change was there on that canvas?
I'm a terrible painter, but I'm not that bad. That was not my painting. It was the start of a portrait, and he changed it dramatically.
And then to the right side, on the other side of, more to the right than the one you already testified to, is that what that picture looked like before, or is that,
Objection, leading.
what if any changes were there to that picture?
Well, the three canvases were portraits, so they looked similar to the one that's in the center that I was doing of his daughter.
Okay. And the white that's below, what if any changes were there to that, the white canvas that you see there?
It just looks like the painting was, it looks like once he destroyed.
Objection calls for speculation.
Sorry. Sustain.
Was there anyone else in the house besides Mr. Depp and you?
Not that I know of, no, and no one was around.
Okay. Do you have any reason to believe somebody other than Mr. Depp did this?
Objection, leading.
Sustain.
What if any reason do you believe that Mr. Depp did this?
Objection.
That was,
What kind of question was that?
what if any?
What's the objection?
Leading.
No, I'll overrule that objection.
Thank you.
It was just Johnny and I in that house over the course of those 3 days, roughly. There might have been somebody, his assistant or something, come on the first day or second day, I can't recall, but for the majority of for the entirety
Christ,
of
it's giving me a
what I've been
headache.
describing to you, it was Johnny and I in that house.
And did you do any of this? Did you
No.
create any of this damage?
No.
I'm also going to take a look at the white tablecloth to the right there.
And also, Johnny was covered in paint, so
I'm getting another energy drink.
to answer your question fully, that's also how I know.
Excuse me, puppy.
All right. So I'm also just going to draw your attention to that white tablecloth over there. Does it appear to have some paint on that as well?
Yes, there was paint all over the place, to say it plainly.
Now, the painting that you indicated, there was a large penis, I believe. Where was that?
I believe it was just, like, if you're looking at this, I believe it was on the wall, almost right next to the painting directly center that we're looking at. That's my best recollection, but I can't be entirely sure.
Okay. Let's go to 1828.
I think that was 1828.
Oh, 1829, my apologies. And do you recognize this photo?
Yes, I do.
What's in it? And
It's the elf on the
What-
shelf
what was
fucking
this?
lampshade.
This is
Popping up
one
in all
of
the photos.
the lampshades that Johnny chose as a medium to leave me messages in blood and paint.
Okay. Let's go to 1830. Do you recognize this?
Yes, that's one of the bathroom mirrors.
Mirrors.
Okay.
Were there any mirrors in
And
the bathroom though?
If you could just look to the left, and I'm going to go
No,
ahead and
only
circle
mirrors.
it over here. You see red and black there. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay. And there were some questions that were asked earlier about that red. What, if anything, did you write on this mirror?
I didn't write anything on the mirrors. I was as confused as anyone in hearing that testimony.
And based on looking at
Sus.
this area that I have circled, is the black on top or underneath the red?
Objection, Your Honor. Calls for speculation. Leading.
I'll sustain the objection. All right, this might be a good time to take a break. Why don't we go ahead
Okay.
and take our
Right.
afternoon break, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and have our break. Do not discuss the testimony with anybody.
Man,
and
I'm gonna
we're
have
doing
to
outside research.
fucking
We'll
break
come
this
back
into
here.
a few parts because I don't know if I can handle another
All right.
fucking 2 hours
15
straight
minutes.
of this. 4, so it's gonna be 6. It's gonna be 6, and then what? 7, 8, 2, almost 2 hours. I'm gonna take another break here. Have some lunch. It's fucking 11:30 a.m. here.
All right, so we'll come back at
All right,
4:02.
see you in a bit.
Okay?
Thank you, Your
All
Honor.
right, thank you.
All right.